All right, we're going to do some review of writing and graphing inequalities. If you have your packet from before break, go ahead and have that out in front of you, but you need to definitely have paper and pencil out in front of you. All right, so remember, an inequality is simply greater using symbols, greater than or less than. All right, so we're going to use them in word problems, and we're going to also graph them. So let's first remember our keywords that go with the greater than and less than. So greater than, this is my greater than symbol. Okay, so these are some of my keywords that would go with greater than. Okay, greater than or equal to, here are some of these keywords. So let's just remember the difference between greater than and greater than or equal to. So let's just pretend that, like, if I said x, whatever x is, has to be greater than 25. Okay, so that means it cannot be 25. Whatever x is, it can't be 25. It's got to be greater than 25. So a number greater. So 25 and a half, 26, 30, something greater than 25. But over here, if I say x is greater than or equal to 25, that means your answer x can be 25 and anything higher. Okay, so that's the difference between those two things. This one includes 25, this one does not. All right, so here, same is true with less than and less than or equal to. So here are my words that go with less than, and then here are my words that go with less than or equal to. The tricky ones are these words that say minimum and maximum. If you see minimum, you think of smaller, but that's actually a keyword for greater than, because minimum means you have to have at least that many or more happen, okay? Same thing for maximum. If there is a maximum of 15 people, that means you could have 15 people or less. You can't go any more. The max is 15. You can't go any higher. All right, so let's do some word problems just so we can kind of go through this. All right, so let me get this over here. Let me see if I can do both of them. Okay, so let's do some examples of with pictures. All right, so you've probably seen something like this in an amusement park, okay? So this is just an inequality. You must be 36 inches or taller to ride this ride. So what that means is, so your height, you can use whatever variable you want. Remember, put the variable, put the number, and then just figure out what sign to go there. So you must be taller than 36. So taller would be greater than. Then you have to ask yourself, could you be exactly 36 inches? Well, it says, if you look, it says you must be 36, I think it's right underneath there, 36 inches or taller. So that means, yes, you could be exactly 36 inches, okay? All right, let's look at this one over here. If you can see this right here, it says 14 feet 10 inches is the overpass. Well, kind of think about this. If you're a car, why would that be important to you when you're driving? Well, the height of your car and 14 feet 10 inches. What do you think your car would have to be? Would it have to be greater than or less than? Well, let's hope it's got to be less than that. Okay, it's got to be less than 14 feet 10 inches. Could it be exactly that amount? Well, if it were exactly that amount, it's still going to hit. So no, we've got to be less than that amount. Okay, very important for truckers and for us if we're riding behind it. All right, let's look at this one, a maximum of 350 people. Let's say sometimes you see this like in conference rooms. So let's say the amount of people and 350. So the maximum amount, maximum means I cannot go any higher than that. That is the highest it could be. So the people, if that's the highest it could be, that means I actually have to have less than that, less people than 350, okay? So then you got to ask yourself, can it be exactly 350? So if the maximum is 350, that's the most people that could be in there. That means, yes, I could actually have 350 people too. Okay. All right. Kids under 12 eat free. So your age and 12, and it actually says it, under, that means lower than 12. Could you be exactly 12? Nope, you have to be under. So it has to be less than 12. Okay. Let's look at this. Minimum wage of $7.25. So your wage is $7.25. And it says minimum. Minimum means you could have that amount or higher. This is just the lowest it could possibly be. So your wage has to be higher, has to be this number or higher. So that's or equal to. And again, you can go back and refer to this if you need to, okay? Maybe I'll put a standard copy of this on Classroom, so if you need to, all right? All right, so why don't you, I'm gonna go back to this now. Why don't you go to, oops, sorry guys, technology. Okay, so I want you to pause the video and I want you to write an inequality for each of these statements. I don't care what variable you use, just remember start the variable, then the number, and then put the inequality in the middle, okay? All right, so how about, maybe this will help you if all right, so I tried to make that bigger and I left this page over here for you. All right, so go ahead and pause the video and come back when you have your answer. Remember, this was when I say to pause the video, make sure you're pausing it and you're doing the problems, okay? All right, check your answers. All right, so over here I said the people have to be greater than 20. Your bills have to be less than or equal to 100. Your minutes less than or equal to 35, because it could be exactly 35 minutes. Your balance has to be greater than or exactly $500. And the kids has to be less than or exactly 20 people, 20 kids. And your grade should be greater than 80, okay? All right. So now let's move on to, so that's writing them. Remember, the writing over here, your variable, I don't care what you choose, but remember your variable really should, like, what does this 20 represent? This 20 represents kids. This 80 represented grades. 500 was your balance or money, okay? So it kind of, it's easier if you make the variable kind of similar to whatever that number is. All right, so now let's graph them. I need to go back to single. All right, so now remember, same thing here, but now we're talking about an open and closed dot. The only difference again is if you have that or equal to, you're going to have a closed dot because it is going to include that number itself. All right, so let's say if I say x is greater than 5, okay, so when you guys do this, you're going to draw a number line. You don't have to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just write the number itself, okay? That number is 5. So greater than 5 means it's not going to be 5. So I'm going to have open dot on 5, but it's any number greater, okay? Remember, you don't go to the next number. You don't go to 6 because it could be like 5.1, 5.2, okay, something like that, right? If x is greater than or equal to 3, again, draw my number line. Put the number there, okay, greater than or equal to or exactly 3. So it's going to be 3 or anything higher, okay? Less than x is less than 4, okay? Draw your number line, draw your number. Where are my numbers less than 4 on the number line? They are that way. So it's an open dot because it does not include 4, and it goes that way. And x is less than or equal to or exactly, let's say 1, okay? So there's 1. Where are my numbers less than 1? That direction, okay? So it can be exactly 1 or any number less than 1, okay? Remember, if you have your variable on the left-hand side, remember we talked about this. If I say x is less than 3, the arrow looks like it's going to go that direction, okay? Those are my numbers less than 3. All right, always think about it on a number line, all right? So let's go back now and let's go back to these, and then I want you to graph these, okay? I want you to go back and graph them now. So pause the video and take some time and graph it. I'm going to do the same. So pause the video and graph it. All right, guys, check your work. All right, so with all of these, even with the word problems, if you're having a hard time deciding if it's a greater than or less than, always try to like check a number up above. You need more than 20 people for the class. So could you have just 10 people? No, you need more than 20. So 10, a smaller number wouldn't work. So you'd have to have a greater number. So that might help you if you try to like think about a different number if that would work, okay? A concert can be no longer than 35 minutes. Could it be an hour? Well, no, because it can't be longer than that, okay? So if any of that Always check another one. All right, with all of these videos, guys, if I make a mistake, just let me know. Give me some grace. Just let me know. And all right, I'm going to send you some additional work for you to work on. All right. If you have any questions about this, email me and let me know. Have a great day, guys.